Hi there, my name is 𝙂𝙀𝘼𝗼𝗍. I'm a content creator and I am the founder and CEO of 𝙂𝙀𝘼𝗍 Media. My goal is to help content creators make more money. One thing I get asked a lot is, how do you handle mean comments? What do you do if people are being rude to you in the comments section? I know this can be something that holds a lot of people back from wanting to start a YouTube channel, especially women, because frankly, existing on the internet as a woman with opinions can sometimes fucking suck. And so let me first just say, your fear is completely justified. Yeah, it can be really scary. Not only is it scary to just be vulnerable and put yourself out there on the internet to begin with, but there are a lot of people who, with the anonymity of the comments section, are willing to say a lot of shit they probably wouldn't say to people face to face. And some of it is hurtful, let's be honest. So I wanted to just give you a quick rundown of how I personally handle mean comments, how I respond to them, if I respond to them at all, what I do to keep myself mentally sane while existing pretty publicly on the internet, so that you can hopefully get over that fear and just get started posting on your YouTube journey. All right. First, I thought it would be fun to just give a little rundown of some of the mean comments that people have made to me in the past. I'm a lawyer, if you didn't know. On my main channel, I talk about law, which can also run the gamut of a lot of mean comments because people are upset when they find out that lawyers have personalities and like they don't really like women lawyers. And there's a lot of reasons why people get mad about my opinions over on that channel. So it's fodder for a lot of mean comments. And I made a whole video reacting to some mean comments over there, but I thought I'd just give you a little highlight reel of some of my favorites. Just because you went to law school means nothing to me. I literally hate watching your video because you made way too many cuts. It's annoying. Turned off the minute you slagging off white men. Why did you have to bring color and gender into it? This video is a left-wing nut who is very annoying. I made left-wing nut who is very annoying merch. Hot tip, if there's ever something you say that's funny, or a comment that's funny or mean, turn it into merch. Take back the power. Okay, another comment. If you want to be a serious channel that explains and talks about legal procedures, then leave your personal opinions behind and act like one. Understand that this is just another drama commentary channel hiding behind their alleged profession to make their opinion and personal bias look more important than they actually are. Yikes. That one cut deep. That one cut deep. I would expect more law talk and less emotion from a lawyer. Have you ever met a lawyer? I can't possibly watch this video further. Trying so hard to drag Roe vs. Wade into this argument stinks of woke indoctrination. You had to spoil it with all this garbage about sexism, racism, ableism, and people of color. Oh boy. You were 13 in 2005? Girl, you dress up like someone 20 years older than you. Sorry, she's unwatchable. Can you use a puppet instead? Bye. A lot of people feel the need to announce their departure. Okay, so these are just a handful of some of the funnier ones that I've gotten over the years. And like I said before, I certainly, when I was first getting started out, I was very nervous about the type of commentary I would probably be getting on my videos. Again, existing on the internet as a woman with opinions can be really scary. By the way, if you are just getting started out, I have a really handy dandy little get started checklist in the link in the description down below, totally free. It's basically a list of all the things that you need to think about if you want to get started on YouTube, but you're just overwhelmed with where to start there. It'll at least give you a list of to-do things that you can check off. Anyway, so despite my greatest fears starting out that I would just be getting hate mail, threats, people doxing me, which is when they share your personal information and try to find you, I had a lot of fears of that. Like my brain went to like the darkest recesses of the internet and all the bad things I've ever heard that have happened to people. And that's what I was afraid would happen to me. Luckily, I will say my overall experience, despite those rude comments that I read, has been positive. I would say 90% of my comments are really, really nice. Frankly, more nice than I deserve. Like a lot of times it's just like very flattering, good for my ego, like just makes me feel nice to read my comment section. However, the problem is that when you're just starting out, you're getting a couple hundred views, then you get maybe like 5 to 10 comments a week. If you're getting 10 comments a week and 90% of them are positive, that means you're getting 1 negative comment a week that you read. Most of the negative comments that I get are laughable, like the ones I just read out to you. They're so ridiculous that they're funny because either this person is making an assumption about you and they don't know you, or they're making some weird comment about your eyebrows or the way your face looks or the way you talk. Things that are just so ridiculous that someone would be annoyed by them that you have to just kind of laugh it off. And it's really easy to laugh off when it's 1 comment a week. However, as you start to grow, you start getting hundreds of views, thousands of views, 10,000s of views, hundreds of thousands of views. Then you start getting thousands of comments to go along with that. So where before you had 10 comments a week and one was mean, if we think that 90% are nice, now you're getting 1,000 comments a week and 100 of them are mean, meaning you're getting like 10 to 20 mean comments every single day. And so if you are checking your comments every hour on the hour, looking at all the comments, you're probably gonna get one new mean comment every hour, every time you open up the app. That is a lot harder to laugh off at that quantity. It is very easy to ignore the 90% of everyone who says, wow, this was so amazing, this was so fun, this was so informative, blah, 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 and just focus on the 10% that make you feel like shit. And there's so many of them when you reach a larger audience that you start to believe, oh wow, maybe I am a piece of shit. I beg you to not go down that path. I think that it can get really exhausting. It can lead to burnout. And I think that it does not serve you at all to lean into those mean comments, but they will exist. And so I've developed a system for how I deal with them that I want to share with you so that as you grow and get more and more comments and inevitably deal with mean comments, even if they're silly, even if you could laugh them off, there's a process that I use to kind of help shield myself so that I don't burn out or get bitter or annoyed at this job that I love that's supposed to be fun. And I want you to feel that way too. Okay, so step one, there's a very easy fix within the settings of the comments on your videos where you can have YouTube cull inappropriate comments. I believe it's checked automatically, so you don't have to do anything necessarily, but I would go into your upload defaults under your settings and just see what types of filtration system you have set up for YouTube to filter out potentially inappropriate comments. I will say that filter is not foolproof. Sometimes it filters out comments that are fine. Sometimes people get annoyed if they made a comment and it gets filtered out by the bot. They think that you deleted it personally. A lot of times the bot will pull out things that aren't necessarily inappropriate and it's not even clear why they pulled it to begin with. And sometimes they'll let things in that are really inappropriate. So it's not a foolproof plan, but it's at least a first line of defense against truly heinous comments, if ever there are some. Second, I would say you need to set very strict time boundaries around when you check your comment section. There is an app for YouTube Studio, the YouTube Studio app that you can have on your phone so that you can pull it up whenever you want and look through your comments. I highly suggest deleting that from your phone. I have it on my phone when I'm in the right headspace. Maybe I've just released a video and I want to be able to monitor the numbers while I'm going about my day. I'll re-download it. And then the second that I find myself absent-mindedly checking it and pulling up the comments, that's when I delete it from my phone. Because there's nothing worse than waking up at like 6 a.m., you're going to the bathroom, you pull out your phone, your thumb just automatically goes to the YouTube Studio app because you're half asleep. You pull up the comments and all of a sudden you haven't even started your day yet and there's someone in there telling you you're a piece of shit. That is no way to live. That is no way to live, okay? So if you are like me and you kind of zone out and let your thumb do the work and it just starts opening apps like the YouTube Studio app and all of a sudden you're reading your comments regularly throughout the day, I highly suggest removing the app from your phone and then setting aside time, maybe once a week, where you take half an hour, you set a timer for half an hour and you say, I'm going to read my comments now. But before you do that, you check in with yourself mentally and you say, am I in the right headspace to be insulted right now? Because that's always a possibility when you're reading in the comments section. So check in with yourself, say, how do I feel? Am I feeling good today? Great. Let's set the timer for 30 minutes. I'm gonna go through as many comments as I can in 30 minutes and then I'm done. That's it. And that way you're able to connect with your audience, see what they're looking for, because it's really helpful to read the comments because you get some great ideas from your audience. You want to know who your audience is because that's how you make good content that's going to speak to them. But you're also creating a boundary for yourself and your heart around the amount of time you're willing to let people into your space, especially when those people sometimes abuse your space by insulting you. So by having those really strict time boundaries, I have found it to be much easier to handle the mean comments when they do come in because I'm only reading them for half an hour out of the week and I'm only doing it when I know I'm in the right headspace to brush them off. Another tip I strongly recommend you do is having a third party, a friend, a partner, someone who loves you and who is there and ready to gas you up, present after you're done reading the comments in case there's one that's particularly mean and you want to talk it out with someone. This could also be your therapist. That's also fine. Maybe read your comments right before a therapy session and then you've got your therapist there so you can talk through it. I talk to my partner about it sometimes if I'm like, wow, I got this really fucking mean comment, just because then he can say, that's so crazy that someone would say that. That doesn't make any sense. That's so untrue. You're perfect. You're beautiful. You're everything I've ever wanted, etc., etc. You know, all the exact things that you need someone to tell you after you've been decimated in the comments section. I highly suggest recruiting someone who you love, who loves you, to gas you back up after you've been torn down. Rely on your community. Another tip I have is to understand that tone does not translate well in written space, and people might also be having an off day. Basically, practice empathy. Sometimes people say such horrible shit that there's really not an empathetic response you can have and you need to just brush it off. But sometimes I know I read things that in my head come across as them being demanding or demeaning or rude or something else, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what they meant when they were typing it. Tone can come across really differently depending on who's typing and how you're reading it. So understanding that the person probably didn't mean any offense by it is helpful, even if it's annoying, even if it's like, okay, choose your words better, buddy. It's helpful for your own mental sanity to say, okay, this person, maybe they meant well. Maybe they didn't mean it in the tone that I'm reading it, or maybe they're having an off day and I'm the stranger on the internet that they decided to take it out on. Does that make their behavior acceptable? No, but it might make it easier for you to accept what has happened and move on. Like, all right, that person's probably having a bad day. I'm gonna move on. It's just a healthier way to think about things. It's probably what my therapist would tell me to do. Another tip, remember that they don't know who you are. They don't know you. What they have to say about you is not based on any truth because they don't really know who you are. You are a person on the internet who they spend some time with in one singular video. They don't know who you are. What they're saying does not mean it's the truth. And frankly, they're probably not thinking about you right now. They probably wrote that comment, left it, and then moved on with their day. Or in the alternative, they are thinking about you right now. They left that comment and now you're living rent-free in their brains, which who's the real winner in that case anyway? So either they left the comment and now they're not thinking about you, so like it's not that big of a deal to them, let's not turn it into a big deal here, or it is a big deal to them, you're still living rent-free in their mind, they're still mad about it, that hurts no one but them. You win in this scenario and it's just best to move on either way. And then my final tip, which can be a hard one to swallow, is sometimes you do need to learn to take constructive criticism. I'm certainly guilty of this. I don't like being told what to do, and I don't like being wrong. I'm a Capricorn, what can I say? It's a toxic trait that I'm fully aware of, and I try to temper. But sometimes in the comment section, I get really annoyed if people correct me even though I know I'm right, or they correct me but it's an opinion so I'm not wrong, it's just an opinion. But then there are times when you are wrong and you need to be able to handle that. If you say something wrong in your video and someone calls you out for it, either because factually it was inaccurate or you said something that's offensive and you didn't realize it because it's a blind spot or a bias that you have, that's totally normal. That is part of being human. People make mistakes all the time. The way that people get canceled for saying inappropriate or offensive things is when they are called out for it and then they don't react appropriately. If you are called out for saying something that's offensive to someone, the appropriate response is to apologize, figure out what went wrong, promise that you're going to do better, and educate yourself. And in the past, I've used it as an opportunity to educate my audience because I consider myself a pretty educated, conscientious person. I try really hard to not be offensive to people. Do I say opinions that other people don't like? Yeah, there are totally people who hate my guts because they don't agree with my opinion. That's one thing, that's fine. If I'm offending you because I believe in abortion or something, that's one thing. But if I've offended you because I've used a word that it has like racist undertones that I didn't even know about, that's something that I am willing to be called out on, acknowledge that I did it, and then use it as a tool to teach my audience, because if I didn't know it, probably people in my audience didn't know it either. So it's a learning opportunity for you as well. So being open-minded to certain types of criticism, if they're telling you you're a piece of shit, your eyebrows are uneven, you look like crap, I hate the sound of your voice, ignore them. But if they're saying, hey, this word that you used has this connotation, or I found it offensive, or hey, this fact that you said is actually incorrect, here's a source, that's a good time to take that information and share it and apologize and acknowledge what happened. So there are times when you should take the negative comments seriously in your comment section. But for the most part, either don't read them or you gotta only read them when you're in a place to just let them brush off your shoulders, okay? Like I said, being a woman on the internet with opinions can be really scary, but I have honestly been very generally pleasantly surprised with the overall lack of vitriol in my comment section. So I hope that you don't let the fear of mean comments get in the way of you creating the content creation business of your dreams, okay? And I hope that this video has given you some tools to use once you do blow up and you start getting a bunch of comments that maybe aren't the nicest, okay? Don't be scared. You got this. If you are just getting started, don't forget to get your hands on my Get Started checklist linked down below. Like and subscribe if you found this useful. Check out 𝙂𝙀𝗎𝑚𝑒𝑑�ا.co for more resources to help you increase your income as a content creator. Thanks so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye-bye.